used to think that when you find your purpose, it would be this great big lightning bolt out of the sky, and it would be written in the sand, and it would just be, here's your purpose. And I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and it never came. And it was this space of, is it not, is it not? I spent for a very, very long time. So it got to the point where when I was choosing my university degree, I literally got the big book of university courses, because the internet was a little baby then. And I threw the book up, landed on the desk, and I went, that one. And I chose 3 courses, put them in the form and sent them off. And that sent me into a degree with business studies with computers. So again, I'm hedging my bets. So I got this thing up, let's hedge our bets. Let's hedge our bets, hedge our bets. And I always picked things that were in one camp and in another camp. So I was always making sure that, you know, this thing happened, I'm covered, and if this thing happened, I'm covered. All the while waiting for this lightning bolt to strike. Here's your thing. Awesome. But it hasn't come. One of the things that I've noticed is that the way that it has come hasn't been the big lightning bolts, it's been those little nudges, those little kicks up the ass, those little people nudging you, saying, oh, that's a great idea. Those people knocking on the door. And so my aim today is to offer you some of my observations in how the universe has been knocking to get me on this path of purpose, rather than this path of hedging. Maybe here, maybe not, I don't know. So the first one was really following the emotions, the negative emotions. So when I was looking around, I'm like a little Irish redhead here, I'm feisty anyway, but watching people who were doing things that I really wanted to do, but I didn't know how to. And feeling those moments of jealousy, of sadness, of frustration. And in those early days, it was like, I'll just have another wine, don't be worried. But now I'm starting to realize that those moments are my little signals. Hey, Ellie, it's over here. It's in that jealousy. That's what you really want to be doing. And now that I've started to listen, I start to move closer to that. I start to find more alignment in those moments. And it's been a beautiful journey, frustrating, but beautiful. And the second nudges that I've noticed is actually trying to find the things that you love. So when I first started neuro-linguistic programming, I was like, oh my God, this stuff's amazing. The brain's amazing. Language is amazing. But one of the things that you have to do is build resources. So you're using things from the past to help you gain more resources for the things that you're facing in your present and the things you'll face in your future. And when I was doing that, I could find all the really negative things really easily. You know, find that time you're really angry. Oh, which one? I had many. Find that time when you were really sad. Okay, yep, there's all those. I can see them all now. Find that time when you were really joyful. What's joy? What is that? I couldn't find them. I couldn't bring those memories. I had to make them up. And that made me go, oh, okay, what's that all about? So I made a conscious choice to start finding my joy, following my joy. Where's the happiness? What's the things that I really love to do? And let me tell you, that took years. Because again, I'm good at the old hedging. Oh, what about this? What about that? Took me a while. But in that moment, when I was finishing my master prac in neuro-linguistic programming, and I helped this woman change her life by thinking that she could never have a family, she could never be loved, to just even thinking about that in that moment and allowing herself to enjoy that joy, I was like, what is this? What is this thing? And there was the joy. There was the nudge. There was the thing of, hey, follow this, follow that nudge. And the last thing that I really started to pay attention to was what language, how am I speaking to myself? What are the words that I'm using? So if you ever hear yourself say, I will never, I want you to come back to this moment and go, ding, 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 ding. There is a nudge for me. Because I said I could never be my own boss. I said I could never be successful. But hang on, who said? What's the evidence? How do I know? And then I started to listen even further into those deeper subconscious things that are coming up. When you hear yourself say, wouldn't it be great if? Why doesn't the world have the, that's your thing to follow? Because there's a universe going, hey, there's a little nugget. So, if you're like me, and you're half in, half out, where you used to be, and let's put it in the past because that's not me anymore. Finding those little nudges, starting to listen that little bit deeper, that little bit closer. Where are you getting those emotions from, particularly those negative ones? What are you saying to yourself? What are those words that are coming out? What would you never be able to do? And finding your joy. Where you find it, that is where you're meant to be.